Hey guys, I wanted to show you something that my mother and my grandmother taught me. So this is, I think it's parsley. I forget, I'll have to ask my mother. Anyway, this is what they taught me. So in order to preserve them, first you bring them home from the store and then you wash them, okay? You wash them and then you lay them out, you separate them and you lay them out on a kitchen towel. Could be a bathroom towel if you don't have a kitchen towel. Okay, so then you just lay them out like this, like that. Could be parsley or any kind of herb. Okay, so but before I laid them out, I removed the roots. So right here, okay, these are the roots, right? This is the part of the bottom of the, I think this is cilantro or parsley. I think it's cilantro. So yeah, so I have a whole bunch of them there, and I'm going to keep them because I'm going to see how I could grow them. Maybe I can grow them in water or plant them directly into the soil. So I will look that up on the internet to see how I could do that. Anyway, so yeah, so then I laid these out. Before I laid them out here, I had to cut that part away. Okay, and then like you have to place them on a plate like that. Okay, so you place them on a plate like that, and then you just take the knife and you cut. Okay, you cut away the root part. Right, so then you see like this one had a whole bunch of stems. It had a whole bunch, so it was like at the bottom like that. Right, so then you just cut it like that, and then you remove it, put it over here, or you throw it away if you are not going to plant. So then I took these ones, and then I just placed them all over the the towel to dry. So I might have done this backwards. My instructions might be backwards. So what I did was, before I cut them, okay, they still had the root end. I washed them. Okay, I washed them. Then I placed them on the plate. Then I cut the root. Okay, and then I started placing them all over here. Oh, actually, before I started placing them here, you need to wash them again, just the bottom part. So right after you cut away the roots, right? Like when you cut it, right? When you cut it away, you see in here there is a lot of sand. There's still a lot of sand. So what you need to do is when you first remove this, okay, put that over there. So when you first remove it, then you have to wash them again. You wash them again, just the bottom part here, to remove any sand, because sometimes the sand is stuck in there, like right here, like right there. It's stuck in there. So you just wash that part, okay, and then you start to lay them out on a towel like this. Okay, and once they are dry, my mother and my grandmother, they like to leave it for one day on the table like this to make sure that they dry well. So once they are dried very well, okay, so then you take we freeze them. So you take like some like this, like that, and then you start to cut them any way you want to cut them. Little pieces, big pieces. We cut them into little pieces. So you cut little pieces like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, okay? A lot of little pieces. And then you place them into a Ziploc bag. Oh, I forgot to get the bag. Let me go get a bag for you. So you place them into, those bags freezer bags, right? So you put them in a freezer bag, and then you put them in the freezer, and you let them freeze in there. So every day when you need to use them, you just go get the freezer bag and you take a little bit out. So once the bag is frozen, you crumple it up like that, and they turn into little, into little pieces. And you might think that it's difficult to remove frozen pieces of herbs, but it's not difficult. Sometimes they just come out like little square pieces, triangle pieces, and you just get your little piece of frozen herb and you put it in your food when you're cooking, or right before your food is almost finished cooking, you put it in there. Okay, so let me go get the let me go and get the bag. Okay, I'm back, guys. Alright, so you can use a small bag depending on how much you have. Okay, you can use one of these, oops. Yes, like a bag like this. Make sure it says freezer. But if you cannot afford for the freezer, you just buy the regular that says for storage. Okay, that's a small bag. This one is a bigger bag. Okay, so we normally use the big one because we buy a lot. So we need the bigger bag to put all this stuff in here. Now this is quite a little bit actually. My mother normally buys a ton more than this, but yeah, so then you put them in here and then you put them in the freezer. Okay, and so it's the best way to keep your herbs from going bad, because herbs, they go bad very, very quickly. So in order for you not to waste your food and your money, I would suggest that you follow these steps so that you can have herbs available to you for whenever you need them for a much longer time, and even for the winter, because sometimes they become more expensive depending on the season. You can buy a whole bunch when they're really cheap and freeze them, so that when you need them, you just go to the freezer, get a little piece, and put it in your food. What I do is when I make soup, I like to add my herbs. I don't like to cook with them because it kind of they lose their nutrients or whatever. So what I do is I put my soup in the bowl, and then I take a frozen bunch of these, and I put it in my soup, and the soup is so boiling hot that the soup does not get cold. So it's just as fresh as the day when you bought these, right? Because freezing, it freezes the process of getting older. So what the freshness of the food or the herbs is it's maintains in the freezing process. It gets maintained in the freezing process. That's so annoying. I know that sounds mean, but that's annoying. All that coughing in the background. Anyway, I've got to go, guys. So see you later.